All right, we're live, folks. Hey, I thought I'd bring you an interesting session to share some of my experiences and some of the things that I've discovered along the way. And I really think that we have a game changer here, or at least something that can help our consultants and our Lean Six Sigma practitioners be more successful. As we know, part of the Lean Six Sigma program and part of being in consulting is having the ability to actually analyze data and do statistical tests and hypothesis and scrubbing of the data. But we know that software packages can be really expensive, right? Many of us back in the day and still in the Lean Six Sigma world, we used Minitab, and Minitab has become prohibitively expensive, especially for the independent person. If you're a small person or you want to do this on an individual level, Minitab is very expensive. So the challenge always is, how do we provide the statistical tools and techniques for people, teach them, and then provide the tools to be successful, right? So just consider this another reading from the Book of Dan, and I'm going to share with you a tool that I created. So a little bit about me. I do online Lean Six Sigma training and certification. I have a partnership with the Thayer School of Engineering. If you take my class, you get a certification from the Thayer School of Engineering of Dartmouth. It's nice, right? Little Ivy League school certification there. But part of our challenge has always been how do we get our students to use Minitab, especially when their companies won't pay for it, given how expensive it is? And then is the tool becoming the problem for them not continuing to use statistics? So that's the biggest challenge. Now, how many of you out there would love to do more statistical analysis and be involved in learning stats, but it's just way too expensive, right? The software is expensive, especially when we rely on this gold standards, which was, let's be honest, it was Minitab. So our challenge was, how do we get students into our program and consultants into our program and use software that they will continue to use and cherish, software that we can train them on, and software that they're going to continue to use, right? How many of you have that challenge, right? You're right. You're thinking right now, well, I'd love to use that software, but it's too expensive. My company won't pay for it. Hey, I'm interested in doing a side hustle. I'm really good with stats, but it's too hard to learn a new program. It's too expensive to learn a new program. So I'm going to show you a tool or a software package that I recently discovered. I had to, right? Because my students, as I was training my students, I had to figure out how do I make this class affordable for them and yet have a license for them to use. So this product that I found was called Data Tab. Now, how many of you have ever heard of Data Tab? Probably not many of you, right? Um, when I came across it, I was just shocked at the value of it and how easy it made doing statistical analysis and tools and techniques, right? We're all looking for great value. We're all looking for software that we can use and train and have confidence in. This is a software as a service platform. I have no affiliation with them. There's not an affiliate link. Go buy now, and I make any money. This is just me sharing my experience and what I'm doing with my Lean Six Sigma program. You also know that I'm a huge fan of AI and automation at this point. AI and automation is the way to go. I think it's going to just totally turn the economy upside down. And a lot of the techniques I'll show you in these statistical tools, I will do another show if there's enough interest in it on how to use Chat GPT, Claude AI, or those other tools to create graphs and do statistical analysis for you and describe what it's done step by step. Really, really cool stuff. So let's get into it. I'm going to switch over and share my screen with you, and I'm going to give you a demo of this product that I fell in love with because it's so easy to use and so user friendly. It makes doing our statistics a breeze. A case in point, many of you are going to be like, "Oh no, we need to teach them the equations. Oh no, we have to do it the old school way. We need them to understand the old school way." Just think of this software product as a visual management system, right? We don't, you know, we have different we want people spending their times fixing processes, analyzing data. And we know I've done a boatload of series already. We know the skills that are going to be in demand. We know the skills are critical thinking, which everyone says they have, and I laugh, right? Because come on, let's be real, folks. Give me a break. We know that complex problem solving is going to be a skill in demand. Yet everyone says they have those skills, and look where we are today. We know data literacy is going to be in demand because there's so much data coming to us. Businesses are going to want to know and understand what this data actually means to them. Data literacy includes statistical thinking, right? If you don't know the variation in your data and you're showing up presenting these nice little graphs that have averages on them and stuff, and you think you're rocking the world and that you're data driven, you'll be sorely mistaken. So data literacy, data analytics. We need to know our data analytics, right? How do we analyze this data and how do we do it easily, right? I know a bunch of data scientists out there that are kind of trained in statistics, but not quite. And then I know a bunch of other people that are trained in statistics, but they can't get the data. We need to marry those up. That is what's going to be in demand in the age of AI and automation. And of course, innovation. And my favorite one, everybody's a strategic thinker, right? Come on, give me a break again. Um, when we're talking about strategic thinking, it is more involved than just creating a goals and objectives and measures. So we have to consider those things. So let's do this. Um, I'm going to flip over and share my screen. We're going to take a look at this product that I think is really going to make um, data analytics much easier for us to understand and much easier for us to describe. And I hope you're going to be shocked too. Like again, I have no affiliation. Um, with a data tab. I constantly call it mini tab, right? 30 years using a mini tab. So let me do this. I'm going to share my screen here and let's take a look at this product here. So I'll give it a second for you to paint. This is data tab. It's a very, very cool product. It's all the data is stored right here on the web for you. But you can see the screen here. You can copy and paste your data right into the system. This isn't going to be a detailed tutorial. I'm just sharing this with you. This is what I'm starting to use with my classes going forward. So here we can it tries to estimate what kind of metric you have for all you data folks out there. We can identify our class of data if it didn't automatically identify it. Pretty cool, right? And look how easy it is. Now, note, it does not do calculations in this window. This is just a place where we can store our data for analysis. So don't think you're going to go in here and do calculations and generate data. I want to also note here that it has this import export function. You can drop your data files right into here, right? And import them and export them into Excel, or should you need to do so. That's kind of cool. And then over here for us heavy duty quants, right? If we wanted to do some sort of data transformation, we can do it here. But keep in mind again, this software is not where you're going to actually do your calculations. So I just grabbed this data. I made up this data and I grabbed it and we'll have some fun with it. I've been looking at a lot of marketing data lately and watching how people do digital marketing analysis. And I can't believe how unsophisticated it is, and I think there's more sophisticated tools. So let's say here, folks, we're interested in our data. We have this conversion add data number one. What do we want to do? Of course, we want to describe the data. When we describe the data, this isn't a statistics class, although we could have fun doing one. We calculate the mean, the mode. Uh, we can calculate the mean, the mode, and all the key metrics. First, I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. So we're going to come down here. We'll click on descriptive. Very simple and intuitive, right? Let's say we're interested in conversion ad one. This is the conversion rate of ad number one, right? We're all quants here. We want to be data driven. So we all know what these fields mean, right? That's a joke. All right. I hope you do. We want to know the median. We want to know the mode. We want to know the variance of our data. We want to know the interquartile range. Let's say we want to know how many data points. We want to understand the the 95th the 95 confidence interval of the mean, and we want to see if the data is normally distributed, right? All key things that we are doing as data driven and data literate people, right? I know when you're doing your analysis and you're reporting, you're looking at this data and trying to understand it. So look how beautiful this is. This tells me right away. I typically use the Anderson-Darling test to see if my data is normally distributed, and and it gives me my statistics here. It provides four different easily, just like that, right? I didn't do anything, right? I just clicked on some boxes. It gives me four different ways of understanding if my data is normally distributed. And again, I'm old school, Lean Six Sigma. We learned how to do the Anderson-Darling test, right? So we can use that. Now, it gives us a histogram, which we can copy and paste into our data. Now, beautiful. The first question, is our data normally distributed? Check this one function out, folks. I hope you brought an extra pair of socks because I'm about to blow them off you. Here we go. We click on AI interpretation. Look at this. Tell me this isn't cool. It gives you a nice little write up on your data so you can understand it, right? And just in case you forgot, right? And all those fake data driven people, they can come in here and get a refresher on what they're looking for, but it gives you an understanding of what it has just seen. Tell me that's not the coolest thing, right? Now we just dropped our data in, we selected our test. Now let's keep going. It gets better, folks. Holy cow, here are descriptive statistics. Again, we can come over here and click on copy those descriptive statistics, put it in our report or our PowerPoint presentation, and we understand the mean, the median, the mode, the standard deviation, the variance. Right? I'm not going to give you a quiz. I'm going to say, hey, how is variance calculated? I don't want anyone to get all queasy. It's a beautiful day out. Our minimum, maximum values. And then, of course, everyone knows what this is, right? All my data driven friends out there understand the importance of understanding the 95% confidence interval of the mean. So here we go, right? If you're if you're going out there and saying you're data driven and you don't know what this means, ooh, you might consider something differently. A histogram of our data. What does our data look like? What's that distribution? Look how beautiful that is, right? It automatically did it for us, right? Remember, we just plopped our data in. We selected the statistical metrics that we wanted it to calculate, and here we go. This is what we actually have right here. Now, if you wanted to overlay a normal distribution, right? The normal distribution curve. Look over here on this histogram, we can overlay the normal probability plot right on our data and get a sense of what our data looks like. Is that not too cool? So we can turn that on and off. And a box plot. Look at this beautiful box plot it gives us. We can get the box plot. Look at that. When we hover over it, it gives us all the metrics that we're interested in understanding possibly. And if you don't like it this way, I like mine vertical. You can flip it over and it will give you that version of the statistic. So how easy is this to get your the key metrics that you need to start analyzing your data? It does a violin plot for us. It does a rain cloud plot. Look at it, the rain cloud plot. If you hover over it, look at that. That's beautiful. It gives me all the metrics, all the data points I'm looking at. And over here, it does quantile, a quantile plot, right? But we can easily change this into a normal probability plot by clicking right here, right? So there you go. It's our normal probability plot here. Look, note here, we have the 95% confidence intervals, right? So we have that in there. We can turn that on and off if we want it, right? But we all know what a normal probability plot is, right? If we're all data driven people, this is one of the key things we're looking for. We're not done yet, folks. Remember, we just dropped our data in, selected our metrics. Check out the line chart, right? We can come in here and we can add it and make it all pretty, but it creates a line chart for us. Now, you have to admit, that's pretty cool. How many steps would you have to go through in Minitab? And well, in Minitab, they have the graphical summary. You got to get your data put in the graphical summary, and you get a lot of this interesting stuff. But Minitab is what, $1,900 a year now. Um, But the beauty of this as well is now, let's say you need a refresher, right? Uh-oh, I just did this descriptive statistics. What if, what if I'm doing a report out and Dan's in the room and we know he's going to want to see if I'm a statistical thinker, right? We can come down here and look at this. This is beautiful. The group at data tab has made a video on every single test and how to interpret that data. So you can come down here. It gives you this beautiful description in case you lost your way and you haven't been reading from the book of Dan and statistics. Goes through. Look at this. You click here. Videos. Yesterday they released a fantastic 4-hour video on basic statistics with beautiful graphics, very easy to understand, and how to use their tool. So you can click them back and forth. So it gives you these beautiful descriptions of all the data. You can click and go to these areas, other areas within the chart. So right out of the gate, let me scroll up. It's catching up. This is a very interesting product. Now, come on, folks. Is this not the coolest thing? But you're like, Dan, it's only descriptive statistics. Not a big deal. Okay. We can also come on here and click on the charts. And if we just wanted to do charts, here, look at this. It gives us how-to charts. We'll click on our conversion add one, and it creates only the charts if we're interested in. And it tells us again how we can interpret those charts and what to do with those charts that we might need in our data set. Again, this is very easy, right? Think about if you're using Excel or something like you got to put your data in, you got to draw your chart, and then you got to copy the chart and bring it over. And again, we have all these other things we can do with it. If we wanted to look at it, the data differently, we can come in here and we can put it up. Let me do it. We can come in over here and we can overlay the probability distribution. But again, we can take this data and enter it right into our system. That's pretty cool. So now you're not impressed though, right? You're saying, Dan, this is just basic descriptive statistics. You can also select multiple variables here. And what I'm going to do is select conversion add one, conversion add two. These are the conversion rates of like a Google ads, if you will. Again, I think if you go out and see how immature in statistical analysis many ad buyers are, you would be shocked, right? With the little Six Sigma and statistical tools, they can be so much better. So here again, I can grab all this data and look at it. It puts it side by side for us. So we can have our data side by side. Here's the data set one, here's data set two. We can have all our graphs. Right here is our our descriptive statistics that we can copy and paste. And again, don't forget about that little cool AI function in here, right? We can look at the data and it will give us some interesting concepts there. So right away, I think this is a very, very cool product. But let's say, all right, Dan, this is great and everything. Come on, data, Dan, show me something cool. Let's do a hypothesis test. Click on here to select the hypothesis test. Look here on this left-hand side, you can click on that and it's going to take you to training videos and descriptions of the various tests that are being done, right? So like I can click here, I can go on t-test and it's going to bring up a little description of what a t-test is. A paired t-test, right? All my data-driven folks out there, right? All you complex problem solver and critical thinkers that are data-driven, you know the difference between a t-test and a paired t-test, don't you? Right, so in here, I'll talk to and then we can just come in and you can see all the other and on occasion, you can load data sets. So they have examples in here. You load your data set and it describes what you have, and then you follow through with your data. But it has most of the statistical tests, I would say over 90% of the tests that you would need as a regular analyst or person doing statistical analysis. Granted, yeah, we know there's a bunch of other cool stuff out there, but this is where we are today. So let's say we want to do a hypothesis test to understand, is there a difference between the conversion rates of these two ads, the conversion rate of ad one and the conversion ad rate of two? Well, and we know we're going to assume that data is normally distributed. So we're going to say it's parametric, and there are two. It's a t-test for independent samples. If we weren't sure, remember, we can go back in the beginning and it will tell us the test that we can use, right? So there could be a decision tree in here and maybe some questions that it asks you to guide you along the way, like data tab, copilot, or something like that. And then what are we trying to look for? I want to know if my ad set 2 has a higher conversion rate than my ad set 1. So I'm going to come down here and says conversion of ads. My alternative hypothesis is that conversion ad set 2 has a higher conversion rate than the one conversion ad set 1, and I'm looking to my significance level is 0.05. Pretty cool, right? So it's a much easier to come through. Our data's in there. We're looking at our data. At least I find it very easy and intuitive. Now, we're doing a test for independent samples. We could print this out if we wanted to. We can copy this data if we wanted to. But let's say somebody's going to bust your chops, right? Someone's in here and they're going to play stump the chump with you, right? You can click on test assumptions and look at this. It's bringing back all the data. It's doing basically, it's doing the descriptive statistics, not the descriptive statistics, but it's letting us know if the data is normally distributed. It's showing us a histogram for both data sets, so we can take a look at that. So, on these assumptions, and then we can click summary in words. So here's what it's telling us, right? It's done all the calculations for us, and it's given us a description of our data, and it's telling us, thus, the null hypothesis is rejected, right? So the null hypothesis is that they're equal. It's saying here there's enough evidence to conclude that they're not equal. Pretty cool, right? You got to say, quick and easy. I understand my data, and then if I didn't understand it, I can ask it a question. We can copy this data, the null hypothesis, and it's going to calculate all our statistics for us. It gives us our side by side box plots. I love box plots. I know some of you like it like this, right? But I've been trained and I've always used it like this. And we can hover over the box plot and it gives us the data that we're interested in. Again, it's going to tell us the does the Levine test of variance and equality for us. Again, if we're not sure what it means, come on, folks. Tell me that is not too cool, right? So it will describe using your data set, putting your variables in it, what it actually means. So that makes it really, really intuitive for us. Because sometimes I'll give it to you. Sometimes if you're data driven, but you're not using statistics that often, you might not know what to do with them. And then here, it's telling us that we did a t-test for independent samples. We can copy the results. See, we're interested in our p-value right here. It gives us the interpretation again. Is our data statistic, is our data, should we accept or reject the null hypothesis? Or look at this, you can click on a video. If you forgot, it's going to go to YouTube. I don't want it to go to YouTube. If I click on that, it's going to go to a short YouTube video and say, "Hello, here's what a t-test for independent samples does. Here, here's how to do it. Here's how to interpret the results." So it's a great, great refresher. Again, down here now, it's telling us the 95% confidence interval of the mean. So that's just an example of how easy it is to do our testing, right? And again, I have no affiliation with this organization. I asked them for some key little features that I would like to see, and they were very, very responsive to explaining to me what they're doing. But look here, there's more than just doing hypothesis tests that we're interested in as data driven, complex problem solvers, right? We can do correlation analysis. So again, they have correlation analysis and they have all the tests there. We can do various regression models, right? We can click on here and do a regression test. And again, over on this left side, you can see we can click on it's going to tell us how to do it and give us a description. And on most of them, they have a data set that you can experiment with. It does mediation and moderation. It does principal component analysis for us. That's kind of cool, right? Really cool, actually, if you ask me. It does reliability, right? Reliability testing for us. And again, look at all the different kinds of reliability testing it does. And each one of these has a description associated with it. So I'm thinking about this as I'm developing my Lean Six Sigma training and certification program. I'm thinking about all the slides I had to create and all the videos to have my students who are trying to get Lean Six Sigma certified navigate through. Open up this screen, go to this menu item, open up this, click on this, go back here. Oh, my mini tab license expired. I was using a 30-day trial. Now what do I do? Pain in the butt. We can do all different kinds of cluster analysis, hierarchical clustering, K-means clustering, fantastic stuff if you're in marketing and you wanna understand your customers, but look at these other I clicked on the plus sign. We have decision trees. We have our ROC curves here, right? If we wanna understand our, operating characteristics and our survivability. We have survival analysis. Equivalence and non-inferiority, right? Hey, English is my second language. Association rules. I think this one is really great. I've been playing with the association rules, also known as a market basket analysis. This has been a great product. We can do our process capability, of course. All the things we need in Lean Six Sigma. Measurement systems analysis, what's their measured values, our parts, our operators. We can and again, it goes step by step. We can click here, we can upload sample data, and then it goes through just like everything else and describes that data. So I think you can understand why I've moved my Lean Six Sigma training and certification program over to this product. And of course, it does our DOEs. Unfortunately, I don't see us doing many DOEs or nearly enough, but you can see we can do our DOE analysis and understanding what's going on with that. So great product for us to use and train our people on. Very simple to use. I love the ability to um, that right next to the test they have a description that, and they show you and you can load up fake data that they've applied provided you, and they have the videos associated with it. Now, some people are saying, "Hey, I don't see control charts. We need control charts." Yep. Well, that's coming soon. I understand after speaking with the developers that they are in the midst of finishing up the control chart capability that I know that we love to teach and use in the Lean Six Sigma and continuous improvement world. It's coming. I'm not sure, how much longer it's going to be, but I can guarantee you it's in full development after having talked to them because that's one of the things that I was really interested and concerned about. So you can see how easy this is. Now it also includes the ability to do surveying. Think about that. We talk about voice of the customer. We talk about understanding our internal clients and our external clients, what they mean. You can click on survey here. And when you do so, it gives you the ability to create surveys. Now, I think it limits you to 3 surveys a month or a week or a certain amount of questions, but it takes you step by step on how to create these surveys and actually send them out and come back and analyzing them. Now, in my version of Minitab, I'm one version behind. I don't have that ability to actually create surveys right now. So, the surveying function is pretty cool. Now, look, watch this, folks. I'm clicking on the tutorials, right? This has me all excited. Look at this here. All these descriptive statistics tutorial. I don't want to click on that, but it's going to take me to a tutorial, and many of these tutorials have beautiful YouTube videos to go with them and explaining step by step what you're doing. Not only what you're doing, they explain the statistical concept, how to apply the statistical concept, and how to interpret the statistical concepts. Are very cool. The one I like here is a newer one. It's on the levels of measurement. I find often people struggle with understanding the levels of measurements. Down here we have the hypothesis testing. Great videos on how to do a hypothesis test for normality. So you can click here, and they have all these fantastic descriptions and videos. This is a stats class online, essentially. You can go through, has our distributions. We can put in our value right here. If we put in a z value of 1, come on, folks, what percentage of the data is gonna come up here? That p value is gonna equal what? Ah, oh, yes. Right, so you can see what it's looking at right there. Um, and look at all this other stuff. It goes down step by step, our survival analysis, our distributions, our lexicon, sample size, right? People struggle with sample size. It has a sample size calculator in here for us. Um, and then as I said, they're adding other stuff to this, such as control charts, which is the one thing that I was a little concerned about, but I know they're actually in the development phase of that, almost ready to roll it out. And it gives you like sample size, a Likert scale, understanding what a Likert scale is and how to analyze a Likert scale. And they have this like a little Six Sigma calculator in here, right, where you can put in your DPMO levels and things like that. But it's a very cool product, and I honestly believe that a tool like this can be a real game changer for us, especially if we're cost constrained. It's 1,800 bucks for a mini tab license, maybe 300 bucks to get an Excel add-in, and it's not as smooth and as clean. But here's the crazy part. Again, I'm not affiliated with this company. I get nothing from this. I want you to see the pricing on this. You click on the pricing. 1 month is 20 euros. 3 months is 30 euros. 1 year is 59 euros. And 3 years is 100 euros. I said euros. Isn't that crazy? I mean, so think about for the value. I'm willing to sacrifice some of the more advanced statistical tests that we might be doing for something like this. I can see my people, my staff using this more frequently, not struggling with Minitab. And again, you can copy and paste your data right into the system here. You can do some transport of the data. So it's a it's a very cool and slick product that we're going to start using for our Lean Six Sigma and AI and training and certification. And I really like what they call the AI capability. Let's do that again. I'm going to select all three ads, Google ads, and their conversion rates. Let's grab their data. Let's do a little statistical analysis on their data. Let's have a little fun with this. Interquartile range, confidence interval. Is the data normally distributed? Voila. So now by ad, it's showing us the metric by ad, by the conversion rates. It's all right there in front of us, right? We're not creating 1,000 graphs. It has everything side by side right here, all the key descriptive statistics that we're interested in. Here it has a bar chart of all of these. And note here, we can click add the standard deviation or add the 95% confidence interval to the mean. Kind of cool, right? A scattered diagram. Not really applicable in this case. Here it does the histogram. It overlays all three of us for us. That's kind of messy, right? But that's what our data looks like. And then we can click on normal distribution and voila, look at that. We can overlay our normal probability plot on top of that data. And again, we have our box plots, our violin charts, our rain cloud charts. Very, very cool. Um, our quantile plot, but we can easily change that to a normal probability plot. And that normal probability plot includes the lines for the 95% confidence interval. It has the data laid out. Very cool, right? And then no, let's take a look here. Let's say, yeah, let's do a hypothesis test on here. What is it going to recommend? If we select all three of these, right? Look at that. It gives us our recommendation already. It says, here we go. Here are the analysis of variance tests that we can do. And then we can select it. Let's say um, without repeated measures. No, we have repeated measures. And again, we can click on the box and it will tell us what to do. It's going to give us our test assumptions. Too cool, right? Way too cool, right? And then it would give us our results and our summary. Right? It's right here. We can just quickly click there, and it's going to say, "Oh, here's a description of what you have and what we're recommending if we're going to accept or reject that null hypothesis." So what do you think, folks? That's a pretty cool. You have to admit that's a pretty cool little setup that we have going on there with you have to admit that's a pretty cool setup that we have going on over there with the data tab. So I hope you can see that it does quite a bit, right? So if we're practicing statistics and we're engaged in statistics and we don't want it to be overbearing and we want to have a low cost application for everyone to use, you can see how this can be very helpful. And just think what it's going to do for training, right? In the past, that we're working in Excel or we're working in Minitab, JASP, or Jamovi, not quite nearly as intuitive, right? So I really think that this has the potential of bringing more people into our world, right? Of of performance improvement, data driven, understanding data, statistical analysis, and prepare us for the future. And again, I might do another video later on, not today, of course, later on about how we can use Chat GPT and the prompts that I've written in Chat GPT to do some really cool stuff. So, what are your thoughts? Um, is this something that you would consider a game changer? I really love it. I've started using it a lot. What are your thoughts? Is this something that you found interesting? Would you consider using it? I don't believe they have a trial version but hell, for $20 a month, for a month, and it goes month by month, it's worth investigating, I think, or even I think what was it, 99 euros a year? It's to me, it's quite a value for everything that it does, and especially with the one thing that I saw missing in there was the control charts, and I've been assured those are in the development phase, and who knows, maybe they'll roll out in another month or so, or maybe even sooner. They might surprise us with that, but I think it's intuitive for us, and it's not missing many things. What are your thoughts? Would you use, do you see this as a potential game changer? Or are you gonna stick with a more expensive product where you're only using 5% of the features and functionality? Um, and what do you think about the training videos, right? I love how they've incorporated in their YouTube channel all the videos. So if you're not quite sure, remember I was joking around about the t-test. Everyone knows the difference between an independent t-test and a paired t-test. Well, all those data-driven folks out there that are scrubbing that from their LinkedIn profile probably don't know, but it has videos on which one to use, why to use it, and again, how to use the system, why to use it, and how to interpret the results. So I'm excited. I hope that all my Lean Six Sigma, I hope that all my Lean Six Sigma folks consider it, and I really hope that everyone coming into my training program again now, my Lean Six Sigma training certification program can appreciate that we've went ahead, we've changed our slides over. We're moving to this SaaS app that adds more value to them, I believe, and that they can continue to use these statistical techniques in the future and do so more easily. Would you agree that would you consider something like this, or am I just like crazy because I like those new shiny things? Well, again, let me finish up with some thoughts. I was very concerned about my training because we depended on Minitab, but many of our students would only get a 30-day license. That license would expire, and then they wouldn't use Minitab again. And that many of them would go through learning these techniques that we gave them, and for some reason, they're not using statistics anymore. Maybe they don't have the right software. Excel, even though Excel has gotten much easier, they're not interested in using it or they've forgotten to use it. Many of the students, again, maybe a year later when they really need to do something, they've forgot something or they're not quite as confident in how they should proceed. With those videos linked to the descriptive statistics, charts, and then hypothesis tests, that's how we all do our analysis, right? We'll do a graphical summary, right, to understand our distribution and the context of our data. We're going to graph it out to see what that data looks like, and then we'll do our hypothesis test if needed, right? And with those videos in there, I'm hoping that my students will have more confidence, and as they move out into the real world, they can actually apply these techniques, not, chasing certifications, right? We know there's people out there chasing certificates. They're just collecting them and in one ear and out the other. They couldn't explain the difference between a paired T test and an independent T test, and maybe they don't have to, but they've lost interest. They just wanted that certification. But for those of our students that really are interested in learning and applying these concepts, this is a great tool. So I'm going to be using this with my training classes going forward. I think it's more affordable. I think it will give my students some confidence. If they don't like the way I explain something, there's a different person in a YouTube video that they can go and watch and see how the tools interact 'cause they made really cool graphics. So I think this is a game changer, folks. And I really look forward to it as people sign up for my class. I need to go out online and make sure they know that we're using data tab and not Minitab because Minitab was a heartburn for a lot of people, especially that annual license. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll do more. Hey, like, share, comment, do whatever, all that great stuff. I don't have buttons there. I can be found at opex90.com. Give me a shout out. Um, I know that there's some more features coming out that I'm getting to review, and I'll even have the head developer and the CEO come on. If I was able to do the show earlier, he would have come on with me. I get his name wrong. Mateus. He's a great guy. So give me a follow, and I'll keep you in the loop of what's coming up. And maybe we'll show you some more of these advanced features, and then I'll show you some tricks in Chat GPT on how to do something similarly and get more detailed descriptions. You'll absolutely love that. But keep in mind, we need to figure out still how we're going to leverage AI and automation, right? We need to leverage it or we're going to be leveraged out by it. So have a great one, folks. I'm ending the stream right here. Give me a like, share, comment, whatever. If you disagree, I'd love to know about it. That always creates a interesting and conversation. So have a great one, folks. We'll see you soon.